Today, I am covering the biggest questions for the Seattle Mariners heading into the offseason. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Edwards, host here for Mariners Daily. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode 29 here on October 24th, Friday. How are we doing, guys? We ready for the weekend? Let's get after it. Biggest questions for the Mariners. Number one, obviously, are they going to keep Josh Naylor? He's a key biggest free agent for them heading into the offseason. Obviously, I had to start off with this question. I'm not holding it for later in the episode or anything like that. There's going to be a lot of time over this offseason to cover this question, but I wanted to get it out there right now. Josh Naylor, total for the season, just had a fantastic season. He's been a very consistent player. But this season, especially, we saw a huge jump in the stolen bases, and that is through his reading of the pitchers. He's just an artist out there. He has one of the slowest sprint speeds in baseball, and yet he had 30 stolen bases this season. You've heard it before, and I'm just saying it again. 604 plate appearances for him this season, 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases, walked 7.9% of the time, and then only struck out 13.7% of the time. He is exactly what the Mariners have been looking for, and I was overjoyed to see them trade for him, and I couldn't be happier with his performance in the season and in the playoffs, where he was such a key, consistent offensive piece. And I think the consistency is the biggest key with Josh Naylor. Is he the best hitter in the league? No. Is he a good hitter? Absolutely. He's not a stud. He's not amazing. He's not a superstar. He's not like a guy that we might be talking about later in this episode. Shout out to right field, but a very good season. It was a 1.168 isolated power. That's when you take the slugging percentage and then subtract your batting average from that just to see how much are we actually using, how much power are we actually do we actually have? Because and it's interesting for Naylor because you look at the slash line, you see a 295 batting average, very nice, 353 on base, and a 462 slugging percentage, which are all nice numbers. However, hitting 295, subtracting that from 462 for the slugging percentage, you get the isolated power at 168. 168 is not a bad isolated power, especially when you're a higher contact guy like Naylor is. However, if we did start to see that average, we saw that contact, that batting average start to dip a little bit, then that would be when I would start to worry because he's not pure power hitter. Like I said, 600 plate appearances, 20 home runs. Not amazing, not a huge power hitter, and I'm going to compare him to a couple other guys in a second here, but he's a good power hitter. A 128 runs created plus for him on this season, so 28% better than the average hitter in the majors in 2025. 3.1 WAR, F WAR specifically, Fangraph's version of WAR. Baseball Reference has its own, and I think there's a third option that I don't know of. Let me know in the comments if you know what the third option of WAR is. I think it's just F and B WAR, or R, yeah, B WAR. B WAR, that's Baseball Reference's WAR. 3.1 for Fangraphs WAR for Josh Naylor, a very good player. How much is he going to get paid, though? That's my biggest question because we know the Mariners can afford him. We know they can. We've seen them give out some big contracts before. A lot of times it's in the version of extensions. You could say maybe they didn't necessarily like they have the opportunity to extend him right now if they want to. Could see that happening. How much is he gonna get? And the only way we can figure this out, in my opinion, now every player is nuanced, every player's situation is nuanced for sure. But I wanted to look at a couple recent first baseman free agents and see what they got, see what their situation was. So first one that I think is probably the most comparable to Josh Naylor on a player basis, Christian Walker signed a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Houston Astros last year. He was 33 years old at the time going into this season. He did have a down year this year, but I don't want to look at that necessarily right now. More just thinking about how much is Naylor going to get. Walker got $20 million a year. I could I think that's the target for Naylor. I think 20 mil is he's probably shooting for more, obviously, as Christian Walker probably was shooting for more than 3 years, 60 mil. But Walker's definitely older. Like I said, with Naylor 28 years old versus Walker, who is 33 years old. So how can we compare these guys if there's 5 years of difference between them? Well, I think the AAV is kind of close to what we're going to see with Naylor. They're very similar players coming off very similar seasons. Walker was coming off a season of 552 plate appearances, 26 home runs, a 10 walk percentage, a 24.1 K percentage, 217 isolated power for Walker. He had a 251 batting average, a 335 on base, and a 468 slugging percentage, a 120 runs created plus for Walker that season, and a 3.1 F WAR. He's definitely better defensively than Naylor is at first base. So definitely he's getting some boost in the WAR department due to his defense. I do think that Naylor is a better hitter slightly than Walker, and I would just point to the K percentage as a key indicator of that. Naylor with the 13.7 this past season, and Walker was coming off a season where he had a 24 K percentage, 10% more. So I would say maybe he's shooting a little bit more than 20. I would say 22 to 25 is he's probably shooting for 25, and I'm sure we would love to get him a lot closer to 20. So we'll see. Pete Alonso is the other guy that I wrote down that I think is kind of similar value wise. They're not super similar players, but and I think Alonso and Walker are a lot more similar. But yeah, either way, Alonso is much worse defensively than both Naylor and Walker. He's very bad defensively at first base. He was looking for a huge deal, and I think that was just because he's a homer guy. 34 home runs he was coming off of in 2024 before he signed a technically 1 year, $27 million deal with a player option that he's going to decline as he did have a great season this year. He was coming off a season of 695 plate appearances in 2024, 34 home runs, like I said, a 10.1 walk percentage, 24.7 K percentage. So those marks are very similar to Walker in his year that he was coming off of. However, Alonso was 30 years old, or is 30 years old, um, when he signed with the Mets. That, like I said, 1 year, $27 million deal. So that's a shorter deal. I I think Naylor is looking at 6 years. I think he wants 6 to 7 years. I'm sure he's targeting 7 years. It's always a little bit more than I think. He is a good player. He is not a stud necessarily, like I said, versus for the guy that we're going to talk about in right field at the end of the episode. But Alonso got 2 years, $54 million total. It was a 1 year player option after the end of the season. Like I said, he's probably going to decline it. He hit 240 this in 2024. Pete Alonso, 329 on base and a 459 slugging percentage, good for a 121 runs created plus and a 2.1 WAR. So he did get a higher AV, $7 million more per year than Walker did, but Walker got 3 years guaranteed. So it's tough to say. I definitely think Naylor is probably shooting right around 25 million for 7 years. Will they sign him? I don't know, man. But I honestly watching that Jerry DePoto press conference after the ALCS, he's very emotional. He has reiterated that he would love to keep Josh Naylor. Naylor has talked about how much he loves T-Mobile Park and really cares about the fan base, and you could definitely feel that. Obviously, he should be our number one priority. We need to keep him. We need to keep him. He fits so well into this team and is such a key player and definitely a key reason why I think we moved on to the ALCS. Josh Naylor was perfect for this team. He was perfect. Perfect. We don't have anybody else that I really want to throw in at first base that I really trust as much with Naylor. Now, obviously, there's usually other first base options out there in free agency. I would rather not even consider it. Just go for Josh Naylor. Please lock him down. Even before he hits free agency, that would be so awesome. Overpay him, whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. Next up on the docket, we're going to cover a couple of rookies that maybe get full time plate appearances. We don't have anybody for third base right now. I think we're going to let Gino Suarez go. Eugenio. I think we're going to let him go. I don't see them paying him especially if we sign Naylor. I just don't think that we're gonna break the bank for or I don't think we'll have to break the bank for Suarez, but unless we get him on like a 1 year deal, I could see maybe we bring Gino back at third base, but we do have a couple of options. Cole Emerson, Cole Young, two guys that are coming up. Obviously, we saw Young in the majors for a decent amount of time, like half the season, 257 plate appearances. He did not do much in that time. He hit 211 with a 302 on base and a 305 slugging percentage. Oh my gosh. That is an 80 runs created plus. Obviously, he is very good defensively, and he has been good in the minors. We'll see it. Let's see it in the majors. Obviously, we're going to give him another shot. I don't see them giving him a full time role. Please tell me they're not giving him a full time role. I could easily see them really turning to Leo Rivas for second base. I was very happy to see his performance there. He finally was starting to show the promise that he had shown in the minors, mainly with the on base and the steals. I want to see that over a full season. I think he could be valuable. The lack of contact and power is a little scary with Rivas, and not exactly a guy that I want to necessarily really rely on for a full season. However, if you do have a guy like Naylor, it does give you a lot of, it lets you take a breath in this lineup to be able to go to a guy like Rivas, save a little bit of money, and get a guy that can still, walk, get on base, steal some bags. So that'll be interesting if Rivas does get the full time second base role. We'll get to another guy that might get it, Polanco, there in a second. But Emerson is the other guy. He was majority in high A and double A this past season, and then got a little cup of coffee in AAA. 600 plate appearances total in the minors this past season for him. 16 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 11.8 walk percentage, fantastic. Only a 17.5 K percentage, great. 174 isolated power. He hit 285 with a 383 on base and a 458 slugging percentage throughout the minors. Emerson, a 130 runs created plus. Very, very good season throughout the minors. I'm really curious to see if they are willing to give him a full time role going into this season. I could see them getting a couple different, maybe a veteran option at third base on a 1 year deal just to kind of cover that and make sure that we're okay there. And then start trying Emerson, Cole Young, see what we can get out of these guys and see what we're working with. The other guy that I mentioned, Polanco, let's cover him real quick because he is such a key free agent for me. Such a great season that he had. He had 524 plate appearances this season, 26 home runs, 6 stolen bases, and 8 walk percentage, a 15.6 K percentage. Also, so freaking key. He cut the K percentage down so much from last season. He was finally healthy, and the power came through. Holy crap, a 229 isolated power, a point 229 isolated power. Fantastic. He hit 265 with a 326 on base, a 495 slugging percentage, and a 132 runs created plus 2.6 F4 on the season, probably because he didn't play the field very much and he's not amazing defensively, period. He did play a lot of DH. I would love to bring Polanco back. I really hope he's not too expensive, but who knows? I would love to keep him. Such an underrated hitter. That sneaky power from a guy like Polanco is so clutch for this team. A 132 runs created plus. Let's not forget he was a better hitter this past season than Naylor was. Like let's not sugarcoat this crap, okay? He doesn't play defense. I get it. He did a little bit, but he was majority a DH, and that's where I would want him. Polanco is great. Polanco is really, really great, and I'd love to keep him. Such a key bat in this lineup, and we needed guys like that to come through. We needed that. We needed the addition of Naylor, and we needed Polanco to really turn on this season to have a magical year like we did. We got to keep it going. Pull him back. Pull him back. Get him back in the team. Get him back because yeah, it's 26 home runs. Like and he only strikes out 15.6% of the time. Like that's exactly what we want. We were striking out way less this season. We need it. Need a guy like Polanco, sneaky power, and I believe in Dipoto. I believe he can get some power somewhere else if Polanco does go somewhere else. But the upside that Polanco gives you is just too good, man. It's just too good. Get him. He can play DH, play a little bit of second base. It'll be fine. It'll be perfect. We don't need to trust Rivas for a full time role quite yet, do we? Give me some more options. Give me some more options. Don't let me get nervous. Next up, final topic. And this one's a little wishful thinking here, but figured I'd posit the question. Give me your reactions. Tell me how ridiculous I am. Could the Mariners go after the biggest free agent this offseason? Everybody's talking about the Dodgers in the World Series again. We're gonna get a lockout, which is possible. And they're already rumored for the top free agent out there, which is Kyle Tucker, coming off in another fantastic season with the Cubs. 597 plate appearances, only 22 home runs, but 25 stolen bases. It is his consistency that is key. 14.6 walk percentage and a 14.7 K percentage. Fantastic. Such a good hitter. He hit 266 this past year with a 377 on base and a 464 slugging percentage. Good for a 136 runs created plus and a 4.5 F4 on the season. He's an amazing player. He'd be amazing in right field for us. I don't want to trust Victor Robles. We need another outfielder. We do. Really need it. Robles wasn't a black hole in the playoffs, but we need a guy that is more consistent out there. And Kyle Tucker, going into his age 29 season, he's going to break the bank. And I don't think the Mariners will go after him, but oh my gosh, what a gift that would be. I would be okay if we lost Naylor. I'd be fully okay. You throw Kyle Tucker in right field, and he is an immediate middle of the order lefty bat that is going to get it done. You could bat him second, and you could throw Cal at batting third with the power. Oh my gosh, that would be so perfect. That'd be so perfect. That'd be so amazing. It's not going to happen, but that's okay. We can dream, right? I'm allowed to dream. Let me know. Let me know. Am I allowed? Am I allowed to dream? What do you guys think? Biggest question of the offseason. I know Naylor is such a huge one. How much do you think he's going to get? 25 mil a year, 6 years maybe. I mean, he's 28 years old. I don't know, man. He's young enough. He's consistent enough. What do you think? What kind of contract would you compare him to? Yeah, what do you think? 6 years, 25 mil? Is that what we're targeting? Are they gonna how much are they gonna trust Colt Emerson, Cole Young? What do you think? Full-time role for them possibly? And then will they keep Polanco? Is that an option? And then Kyle Tucker. Am I just wishful thinking or what do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. Sam Edwards checking out on Mariners Daily. I'll see you guys on Monday. Get ready for the off-season content. We're coming in full swing, baby. Have a good one.